Sanctuary Vineyards in coastal North Carolina. William Hovey Smith, 2013. I'm Hovey Smith, and I cook, and I also drink wine, as well as being the author of Backyard Deer Hunting, Converting Deer to Dinner for Pennies Per Pound. One of the things I do when I go on hunting trips is run by local vineyards. And this is Sanctuary Vineyard, which is located on the northern edge of the Outer Banks. As you drive down, say, from Washington, D.C., you run into it at the Cotton Gin. Now, this you see the vineyard by the side of the road. Now, it's fall, there are no leaves, and the vineyards are being pruned. And now, they are also making wines for next year's vintage. Now, their wines are good, and they won several prizes, and now we're going to be about actually tasting some of them for you.
This is Hovey Smith with Hovey's Outdoor Adventures, and we're at the Sanctuary Vineyards in North Carolina talking to Dan Gobish about his fine wines and how you make muscadine wines. Now, I've got a little special product here that we're going to taste too. This happens to be a pear wine, another indigenous southern product. Now, we're going to start off with this one, since it is, I think, the driest of the bunch. And when you're tasting wine, you want to taste the drier ones first, and then go to the sweeter instead of the other way around. Now, what this is a pear wine. Homemade. Now, the thing about making homemade wines is that anybody can do it. You don't need a license. All you need is something with a sugar content that you can ferment. Cactus will make wine. Pears will make wine. Grape will make wine. And, of course, scuppernong grapes will make wine. So, this happens to be a pear wine.
Very nice. Turned out really well.
Well, how would you describe it in more detail?
Well, on the nose, I do get a lot of pear aromas that are coming off it. It's very fresh, kind of smells like a midsummer pear. A little bit of citrus, maybe some lemon, lime combinations. In the mouth, it's completely dry, and there is no residual sugar. So the alcohol really comes out in it. You also get a lot of acidity. I'd say, again, citrus flavors, lemon, lime. It's really a tart, kind of a dry drinking wine, very smooth. A lot of upfront flavors on the front of the palate and in the mid palate, and then the end finishes really clean. Very nice.
Well, this is a nice wine in the sense to finish off with. It almost has an astringent or cleansing your palate kind of thing. If you were eating mutton, for example, this would be something to cut it, to finish with.
Yeah, it'll cut the fat right out.
Exactly. Or it goes excellently well with fish. It tastes very similar to some Italian white wines, which are specifically designed for fish, even though they are grape-based. Now, all right, that one down. Now, about the scuppernong, our native American grape. And y'all do some very fine scuppernong wines. And would you start us on one, please?
Sure. First, we're going to start off with our sweet light keeper. And this is actually a rosé of muscadine wine, and it's combined with a little bit of Cabernet Sauvignon blended in there as well. It's got a nice light rosé color. I'd call this probably a light to medium-bodied wine. And you'll immediately pick up some of the scuppernong notes on the nose. You can get that foxiness or the grape flavors kind of coming through on the aromas. This is the least sweet of our sweet line that we make, and this is about 3 to 3.5% residual sugar. So it has just a little bit of roundness from that sugar in there. It also has a nice acidity that comes from the muscadine that helps balance out that flavor. It's got a nice finish on it. You can kind of pick up some of the Cabernet Sauvignon spiciness, the oakiness that the cab was aged in the barrel, kind of on the finish. And some people call it a cinnamon or a nutmeg spiciness to it.
Indeed. Compared to the pear wine, this has a definitely more rounded edge. It's almost as if you added butter to a dish. I mean, it very much rounds out the flavors and carries through very, very well.
It's one of our best sellers. This one has a very broad base appeal. People that maybe don't drink wines at all gravitate to this one because of that roundness. It's not what I would term an aggressive wine. It's very friendly.
And the next one?
This one is our bestseller wine. This is our Sweet Serenity. This one is 100% muscadine, and we use a couple different varieties. We typically have Carlos in there, which is one of the more popular varieties of muscadine. We also do a little Doreen, which is a very fragrant muscadine wine. It has a lot of that foxy character to it.
Now, what most people don't realize is that there are many varieties of muscadine grapes.
Oh, yes.
There's not just one. And each of these, like the European varietals, have different flavor characteristics depending on when you take them, how you take them, how you treat them, how you process them. Can all change the flavor and texture of your wines. And this is something these people know very well. And they are also unique in here in this particular niche in North Carolina. They can grow both the Scuppernong as well as the European vinifera grapes. And that's why some of these wines we're tasting are blended, and that's why they also have another entire line of grape-based wines.
Yeah, we're very lucky at this part of North Carolina. We are kind of out here on the fringe, but the maritime climate that the ocean affords us kind of moderates the temperatures enough that vinifera grapes are possible out here. Some years, of course, it's a struggle, but that's any agricultural endeavor. So,
Indeed.
we try to. Yep, so this one you'll really pick up that muscadine aromas. That one's even more pronounced than the first one that we tried. This one is a little step up in sweetness. This one is about 5.5 to 6% residual sugar.
Mm-hmm. You know, this is certainly a nice clear wine, and you can very definitely taste the Scuppernong. This tastes like a very friendly wine. Looks like it even sneak up on some barbecue a little bit, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. That spiciness in the barbecue would go wonderful. This one has one characteristic of the muscadine is its acidity, and this one, even though the sugar is higher than the first wine that we tried, the muscadine in this one has a greater acidity, so it kind of balances that out. And I don't think that maybe the sugar is as evident in as the first one. This one has a nice acidity, especially on the finish.
Now, considering sugars. Now, one thing different about my wine is it is a dry wine. It is not sweet. It has no post-fermentation sugar added. Absolutely none. So this is just as it is made. And that is one of the advantages and one of the problems of making homemade wines, is they can be infinitely variable. But if you add sugar to this and it is not completely done fermenting, it will blow any bottle ever made. Guaranteed.
Absolutely. Yes,
so if you're going to add post-fermentation sugar, you have to make very sure that your yeasty beasties are long dead.
Yes, you do. Yeah, and make sure that you have a tight cap on it or a fermentation lock, so it won't blow up if by chance you do get a stray yeast breaking that sugar down that you've added to it. You can also add sorbate. This is commercially available, and that'll inhibit your yeast. But yeah, you do want to make sure all your sugar is gone, and all the yeast are gone before you add any more sugar back into it.
All right, now what do we got?
Our third wine tonight is our Life's a Peach. Now, this one is a blend of 75% peach nectar that's been fermented along with the 25% muscadine wine. And so it's primarily a peach product, but again, it just has that friendly muscadine flavor in there to kind of round out the flavor profile. And its sugar is about the same as the last one that we tried. This one is about 6% as well.
Now, peach is another southern fruit, of course, which you can make wine from, as you can watermelon, for that matter. And this is something that was historically done and fermented into, even distilled into brandy back in the day.
Sure. good way to preserve the fruits. Go ahead and turn them into wine.
Indeed.
This one you'll pick up a lot of the peach characteristics right on the front nose. It does smell like summertime in a bottle almost.
Is that characteristic of fruit wines? Is that you get the fruit flavor just bang immediately?
Usually right on the front face. Yeah, right on the front. And the first initial aromas that you get, or the first flavors that you get, will be of that the base that you made your wine from, typically. And then last but not least, we have our Sanctuary Vineyards, the Plank. This one is a Muscadine Cabernet Sauvignon blend that we produce here, and it's made from the noble variety of Muscadines, which are a red variety. You can see the dark inky color immediately.
Indeed.
Even though it is a red wine, we prefer to serve it slightly chilled with the sugar content in there. We think that those sweeter flavors are a little smoother going down. You get a little bit of chill on it. And again, you can tell this one is really concentrated. This is a deep, dark wine. It's really, you can pick up the concentration on the nose and just how full flavored it is.
This almost begs for cheese, doesn't it?
It sure does. It does. Now this one we've mixed a little bit of Cabernet Sauvignon in it as well, so you'll probably pick up some of those cinnamon or nutmeg or spicy characters. Again, kind of what I get in the middle of it. And that one's pretty good.
Yes, sir.
Any questions, Hovey?
Where are your wines available?
Hovey, our wines are available at all Cotton Gin locations. We have them tasting rooms in our Jarvisburg, Nags Head, and Corolla locations, as well as here at the winery, of course. We do distribute to a couple local wine shops. Chips, which is a location in Moyock, as well as down in Nags Head, carries our wines. Trios carries our wines. Also some of the local Outer Banks restaurants, such as the Black Pelican, Bass Knight's Lone Star, also carries some of our wines, and a few small restaurants up and down the Outer Banks. I'm sure I'm leaving some of them out.
So
look for them on your menu, and if they're not there, ask for them.
So basically, your wines are only available in extreme eastern North Carolina. Is that correct?
At the present time, yes. Yep. Now we do ship. We ship to Virginia presently, and we are in the process of getting Ohio as well as New York in play as far as shipping goes. So sooner rather than later, we'll be able to get a wider distribution.
Can someone physically order a bottle or case of wine from you here?
Yes, absolutely. If you reside in Virginia or North Carolina, we're able to ship to you. And like I said, we're always adding states as paperwork allows. So we'll be having more. So, but people in North Carolina and Virginia can sure call us up, order there, or they can order off our website, which is sanctuaryvineyards.com, or here at the winery, or any of the Cotton Gin locations.
But if you happen to be in Missouri or Colorado or California, you're out of luck.
Come visit us.
All right. Well, that sounds like an open invitation to me.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks very much. Enjoyed the interview, and good seeing you again.
Thank you, Owie.
Besides my flagship publication, Backyard Deer Hunting, I have other books too. Now, among these are Extreme Muzzleloading, which tells you how to shoot swan, ducks, geese, and all critters with muzzleloading guns. I also have the most complete book ever written on crossbow hunting. Yep, sure do. And if you want some fish in your diet, I've got Practical Bow Fishing. All right. Now, Sanctuary Vineyards is located near the Cotton Gin at Jarvisburg, North Carolina. Now, for more about my materials, go to my website, www.hoviesmith.com.